a little bit of mixed reactions here when it comes to cryptocurrencies. XRP's up about 1% here. Um, in the weekly time frame, yes, it's a scary proposition what we're seeing put out in front of us right now. That is definitely not what we want to see. But for a lot of reasons, this has to happen. So don't be afraid. We drew out the little simulation yesterday. It's hard to see in the weekly, but if you were here yesterday, it was a fun day. Had a lot of fun with everybody in the 2 lives yesterday. I think we're getting back to the more proactive, more good vibe, less intense, but more in the moment while trying to figure out the macro view, but have to understand the micro scenario that's developing for opportunity. Big opportunity presenting itself to everybody who's always asked me about precious metals and commodities. I went through very deep with Dolly Varden because they have a 4.3% or so, 3.3, 4.3, whatever it was. They put out in common shares to be bought up at $6.50, but it was to take it off of the market to use it for a asset, like a further value in cash, so that they can make more acquisitions, like more merge. So they're basically buying more. So we've seen this with more purchases via First Majestic earlier in the year. We've seen this via more purchases with Pan America Silver. And yeah, we've dumped down from 525, or what was it at its peak? But this is there's a couple of them. It was actually a little higher, 540 when this came out, this announcement. So I sold on the announcement. Excuse me. As a lot of you know, because I didn't know what the common share stuff was about. So I'm like, well, this is some shit right here. I didn't sell it at 535. It was like 517, I think, 521, somewhere in there. It had already come down like 14 to 17 cents per share. But it wasn't because of the price. I don't care if the price goes down. I just didn't know what it was all about. So when I see common shares, my instinct says, uh-oh, there's got to be some kind of problem here. Well, then it comes out that they're doing it at $6.50. So that makes you feel better because they say it's undervalued. And it can be up to 13.2% of the common shares that are going to be bought up for more availability of cash flow for this for these acquisitions. But that's 13.2%. And the more you think about it, that means 13.2% of the available shares come out of the rotation, but it's guaranteed to be bought at $6.50 by these institutions or bigger investors that have agreed. They've already been agreed to be bought. It's just they don't know when they're going to be distributed. That means that at $4.67, it's dirt cheap. That would be like them coming out and saying, we have a valuation for XRP at $5.75, and we know it's going to get there. And we're selling shares, in fact, to the institutions on the exchanges at this price right now, even though retail is getting it. That's what they're telling you. So basically, these other entities are making deals, and we don't know if these deals at 650 and the reason the float's so big is because they've actually got an acquisition in place and they're going to put this float there and it's agreed upon at 650. It doesn't matter. It's 13.2% of the outstanding shares are guaranteed at 650. And they've come out and said now that it's too, their stock, they believe it's too cheap. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So the bottom line is I reinserted myself back into this position. So right about $4.65 is where it was at. Not at the bottom yesterday, but right before the close, I put in the buy order. It filled up, and I wanted to talk about it today. And now it basically came below that when I had first started talking. But I believe it's a dirt cheap opportunity with where silver's going. And does that mean it can't go down? Absolutely not. And I'm actually looking forward to if it goes down, because that in my head, I see a target where it could come down to like 436 even, you know, maybe a little bit farther at 415. So what I'm going to do is I haven't had an opportunity to expand back in a silver miner in a while. So when I sold out, there was something like 1,000. It was 1,000 shares. I bought back and it was 1,045. So a little bit more. I got a little bit more back, so I'm happy about that, like 45 additional shares. But it wasn't about that. I feel very comfortable now with what I read with the float, so I wanted to start with that. So, but we're not going to get much into the miners and gold and silver yet, even though gold, eat your heart out, everybody. Oh, because I'm eating my heart out. Do you see where gold's at? It's telling us something ain't right still in the world. Gold's at $4,041 an ounce. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Woo! I see some Sucktober's in the comment. Depends what side of the equation you're on. It ain't Sucktober so far for gold, baby. 4,040. We've got Barrett staring at $34 a share right now. B2 gold up to 532. Trading with J-Rad. Are you in here? I know you're eating your heart out, my friend. Oh, my God. Because you love Barrett gold, too, and you're buying it sub 15, sub 20, I believe. Oh. Silver's up 2.2%. It's just aiming at $49. We haven't been this high since the Hump brothers manipulated the gold price long ago up to $50 an ounce. This is insanity. It's so cool to watch. Pan America Silver staring at $40 a share right now. First Majestic up 6.8% in the day at $13.56 a share. Unbelievable. Remember when that happened with the acquisition with for anybody who's in here, and some people might leave, but that's okay. You're just gonna miss out on the next part. But remember when Fortuna Silver Mines was at $4.50, or well, it was at $2.50, but $4.50, or no, $4.15 when First Majestic dropped to $4.52. And now First Majestic, when it had that acquisition, was at $4.55. Now it's at $13.58, up another 7% today. Pan America, when it had that acquisition, it dropped to 22. Now it's at almost 40. These are numbers that we were talking about in the beginning when we first started talking about these. It's insanity. Hecla Mining, the single largest silver producer in the USA, when it had a drop down to 440, I almost lost it. I'm like, I cannot believe that they're giving, or what was it? 440, and then it did it again to 520. And I bought more. I'm at like, I got up to, I don't know, 1,500 maybe. But $12.48. This is the silent bull market. It is, because nobody in my audience ever says, Tom, how's the miners doing? Well, some say gold and silver. Dolly Varden right now up 1.3%. Dirt cheap at $4.67. Especially knowing that they're selling 13.2% in time at $6.50. So when it's under it, it's cheap. When it's over it, if that 13.2% isn't sold, it might be too expensive. We don't know. And Silver Corp Mining up 1.78%, steadily over $7 a share now. Remember when that old little guy was at $4.25? Not anymore. I remember when Mrs. Stott, and oh, how awesome is it that you're here? 3 months plus in the XRP Meteor in Tom's Army. When Mrs. Stott asked, I know a lot of the silver miners have gone up, but what's the good deal still? I said Silver Corp Metals. It's the most undervalued mining stock in the game. And now I'm pretty sure that she's pretty happy with that. And I'm not a financial advisor. Oh, no. Not even close. But I do put what I know in my charts up against anybody. So, XRP playing out perfectly right now. We need this little back test going up over the top. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But I could see a back test here. Let's see. Where would we want this to play? In a descending triangle. Now that we fell back within, you either want to see a back test sitting at 293-ish, or maybe up here if you want to continue the fourth wave down to the fifth. You could technically hit around, I don't know, $3, 296, depending on where you want to hit this, 297. But this could technically be, you know, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, this could give you the ability to have this final showdown. And like, I'm not going to get into the 5 wave and be like, oh, the Elliott wave. I'm the most foremost effort, but I can tell you we're in a 5 wave down correction right now, and it's been going on forever. Since that first top out, we've been in the same correction. Well, not forever, but so, it feels like forever for some, but it's been in it for a while. It's almost like I have to remember where I wanted to start this from. Because we've gone out. Well, actually, you'd have to come into here. But I don't know, though, because I kind of feel like I know we came down here, but I feel like this is it. I feel like this. It's more like this. Well, not that. It's more like because it. Unless you start here because the correction start. Yeah, that's where I would start. That's the problem. I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? I wouldn't start back there. So when I look at this, for an impulse, for like the corrective wave, you're almost looking at, see, this is where let's take a look here. Because something's gonna have to power us down. So maybe it expands and this is just part of it, and then it gets us down here. That would be a perfect 5-wave correction. I think it would be. I think if we could get a 5-wave correction, that would be our corrective wave out. I don't know how far it's going to expand here, but I think if we do something like this, it would be a perfect descending triangle. It's such a bullish consolidation, but we need 5 waves. That's the point. We've only done 4 waves here. Because if you start from the up direction, you've really only... Because that's how it's going right now. Anyhow, that's just speculation anyhow. That's just speculation. Because that's, if you get into the wick off and the Elliott wave and yada, yada, yada. But, okay. Because it technically, right, it bounced down. We could start higher. But I still feel like it needs one more push down here. Because it did come down, but then we found out that the resistance started here within it. So then it's like, all right, resistance. Now we're going to a 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't know. It might come back up to this resistance. And then if it pushes down, this could be the... Unless, no, it's a nice 5-wave corrective wave. It would be a nice 5-wave correction. This is what I keep fighting with myself. Because then can it technically bounce out for a 5-wave move up? So... I'm not convinced it's going to fall out of this structure. I'm just not convinced that we're going to just get through here without having that one more down. I don't know. This might be going for some people. Dan Marginal, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the X-Ray Meteor, along with Mr. Stott. Appreciate that. Frankie Fresh, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months plus with the XP Predictor, along with the Cannabis Podcast. Hope your hand's doing good, Mr. Frankie Fresh, and that you're starting to get a little bit more, every day we ask for just a tenth of a fraction of a minuscule movement. I had in my thumb, and it's nothing compared to what you are dealing with, but I completely ruptured, tore, detached my ulnar collateral ligament in my thumb. It wasn't attached anymore, so I couldn't move my thumb. And they had to do reconstructive surgery, and I have a titanium hook in my thumb so I can move my thumb, but I couldn't move it, and it took until I quit going to the stupid therapy. I went twice. I'm like, you guys aren't a rubber band. I can do. So I went home, and it took me, I don't know, a couple years, but I got pretty decent movement. So this is my right hand, and this is my left hand. So at least I've got somewhat movement. It can come down to here, but when I first started, I couldn't even move my thumb. But, so there's hope. Like I said, it's nothing like what you're dealing with. But, every single day I just looked for it was like the smallest of a tenth of an inch of a micro of a millim, just the smallest minute movement, because I knew it was going in the right direction. So we pray for you. And Janine, if you're watching, so blessed to have you in the audience. Robert Latham, welcome in. Mark Korf, D. Rojas, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Areli, welcome in and good morning to you. I'm so glad to see you in here. You've been in a lot of lives, even in business meetings. Sneaking in the headphones, I like it. But if somebody's watching, you know, that's just me speculating. Mosey here in Vadodamas and UK Phil, welcome in. Thank you all three of you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Let's see. Love it. Look at this audience. What a beautiful audience. Joseph Euler, good morning to you, my friend, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with the Ricci Farms, and good morning to you, friend. CVD, J Frimix, Wes, and Frisky Auto, welcome in. D Zill, good morning. Dan Marginal, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Ben Graham and McNamara, welcome in. Hey, good to see you in here in the live stream. Long-time viewer there. Love it. Thank you so much for that. Adam Carilla, Gray Paul, and Scotty Trades, welcome in. It just has to make one more low. Yes! Yes, it does, Scotty Trades. And I know you understand. Nope, it just needs one more low. Yep, it needs that fit. Yes. Let's see. Crazy Paul, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Good to see you in here, my friend. John Hall, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army now for your 2nd month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. What a great guy, Mr. Hall. Thank you so much for that. You are welcome, friend. Swirlview, welcome in, and along with S. Wimbush, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. King Day, welcome in, and good morning. I love that. Or Dee. I call you Day because of, reminds me of Friday. Better times. Well, actually, we're in the best of times, aren't we? Scotty Trades, welcome in, and also says, little premature, but right now I fully expect 264 for the final. Love it. Honestly, I love it. Not getting notifications I see from a few, so I'll share it myself and just say live. I'll share a public one and one for everybody who's subscribed. Share, and I can do it on my touchscreen right here, so nobody even has to see me do it. Then we'll get back to welcome everybody. Good morning. 10:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this, what the hell is it? Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Tango, welcome in along with Crypto Cooter. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Crypto Cooter, I tried to share it now, so hopefully it'll be in there. Thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Mike B, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 2nd month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. The Posh Head, good morning. Tanya, welcome in, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. It says here, T, just heading to the gym with my headphones on. That's a good decision, love. I'd finished the gym too right before I started here. Well, my gym's in my backyard now. As I built a little section, which I love it. Oh, I love it. I'm glad to hear that you're still going to the gym. I love it. It's such a good way to get the aggression out, working out. It makes you feel better. You know, people are starting to speculate. And going back in some of my videos, I have noticed quite the crazy correlation. I do seem to wear a hat more when we're bullish. It's like I'm trying to hide my eyes and myself from smiling more or something. Now people are starting to speculate when I have no hat on, it's bear time. I love it so much. I love it. Crypto Cooter, you got that notification now. I love that too. That makes me happy. Ronald Grump, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 1st month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Says Bearish Tom. No, Hat Tom is a bear sign. Hat Tom is a ball sign. I'm gonna have to remember that. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. And also a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. We're going to have to remember that. So if it's about to be bullish, I wear a hat. Interesting. I'm fascinated right now by the fact that gold just said, nah, fuck it, let's just keep going. You guys want to keep the economy, or you guys want to not come back to office and go to work? You know why it's down now? Or going up again, I mean? Because now there's speculation that it's going to be 100 basis points at minimum. And gold just said, are you shitting me? You're going to go 100 basis points? You're going to drop this 100 basis points. Well, it's time for us to go up more. Where was my next target on gold, out of curiosity? 4,115. That was our unabated move. And that's just not some number we drew. That was actually the technical target up. Oh, what a spectacular and awe-inspiring moment it is for gold. Gold shit. Silver sucks. I wouldn't wipe my ass with the miners. Nobody says that now, but they used to. Just like when they used to say XRP. And well, now they're starting to say it again with XRP. Just wait until we get this fifth wave correction. Oh, Tom! Every time this pile of shit goes up, it just goes down. And I just sit here and go, are you kidding me? Like, are we kidding ourselves? Like, what do you mean? The JP Morgan trading app is inside of my Chase. So I have to log into Chase, and then it's inside of my account. I could take a screenshot if it lets me. But all it's going to show you if I take the screenshot is what's available, like how much that is up to and all this nonsense. Let's see what I can do. Yeah, because it's not going to show you what it looks like. I don't even know what it looks like, to be honest with you. It just says investments by JP Morgan. I have a self-directed, and I have my retirement that's self-directed, and my just regular trading account. But that's signed in on Chase. Yeah. It's you have to be part of Chase to have the JP Morgan trading app. So, JP Morgan Chase. But incredible Volk. I'm glad that helped. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, along with Mick Shoot. B Southtown, welcome in. Winford, good morning. Ronald Grump said Tom's hat is what Warren Buffett watches for. Oh, this is so funny. This audience is second to none, I tell you what. Ben B, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. And to everybody who's donated and gifted a sub over the first 3 days that, for whatever reason, YouTube allowed us to give subs now, thank you. I think there's been 3 people now that have gifted subs, not including myself, and it's a touching moment. So it's oh man. Mike B, would you ever consider doing any kind of live day trading for members only? Just curious. Ooh. A members only live day trading. You know, that would be a reason to have something behind a paywall, now wouldn't it? Because you'd want somebody who put their hard-earned money into it. Because then they would obviously be willing. Oh man, that's an excellent question. I never thought of that because I do like the day trade. Like when it presents itself. Like let's say this fifth wave has to go down. Who's to say we weren't all watching it and we're like, well, you know, Tom, we've drawn this out and we're getting into an area where it's up to 297 again or 292 or whatever. Who's to say we don't try to make a run up here because we know we're going to have a rejection? You could theoretically make a day trade to 292 or 297 if it comes all the way up. Maybe it gets ripped over the top here at 295. But that, I mean, I'm looking for the momentum to get us down now for this fifth wave is what I'm looking for. And like, if you want to see a real way put together, there is somebody in the community, like if you want to get away from what you're seeing, what I just shared, there's somebody who can do a much better job. If you're in the Telegram, or if you're in Tom's Army, please come be in the Telegram. We have 477 members. We're knocking on the door of 500 now. But you got to be in Tom's Army to try to cut down on the damn spam. You know, when it comes to people trying to steal from people. And they try to integrate into the audience to try to, you know, but we've got a team in place. But what am I trying to show here? So Ah, here we go. Here we go. Showed MQ. Showed a fantastic rendition here. I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day. And I trust his chart a lot more than mine. But he shows, so he's got the micro 5-wave. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to show this because he knows exactly what he's talking about. So it moved into a 5-wave. So 4th wave, okay, I like this a lot. This is what I mean. This validates this movement. Because even if the 5th wave ended, see, that's why it felt weird when I was doing it. Because you could say it ended and then it went into an ABC and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ABC is just a correction, leading back into a 5-wave, corrective wave. Again, and look how it ends up expanding. So, fantastic job. So pay attention to MQ. One of the best I've seen at doing the pushing the wick off and things like that. Or the Elliott wave, I should say. My cat is being crazy. It wants food. Hold on one sec. No. In Michigan, we're starting to welcome back winter or the fall because it's been like we were getting some unseasonably warm 80-degree days and things like that. Man, TradingView just so slow today. I've had to reset it a couple times. $61 up for gold now. It's just unbelievable. Silver's over 49. Dolly Varden's sitting there saying, please don't ignore me. So Silver Corp is still extremely undervalued. I know it's crazy to say at 719, but these prices, they're nowhere near where they should be. Obviously, at some point, we're going to have a big pullback. But who knows when? This could go on until, who knows? Gold could keep going to 5, 6. With the rate of inflation and all this bullshit. Where did our friend MQ show that? I'm curious. I want to see where he showed that. Where was that resistance for him? About 302 is what he's looking at. 299 to 302 range. He's not wrong, though. It does like to come back up to the 1618 a lot. It loves that area for some reason, XRP, when it's going to be rejected. I like it. I don't see anything wrong with this. I really like what he put together here. Bounced off the support at 285. It would pull us down. What's his range down? 269. Let's see what this shows on what we were drawing in here. Whoops. That would put us back down here. So that would push us into like the... Either it's going to come down here and ride the back, or it's going to tap it. But where's the other chart? No, not this chart. So where's 269? He's got it somewhere around 269. We got it. Yeah, so I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. I like what he did too, because I can see exactly why he... So... It's pretty interesting. And I like it, actually. So, I like it. Watch this. I like what he did. So, he basically said this reset itself here. So, he went, no, not way down there. Here, we'll just fix it after. See, now it's confusing because I've got this way the fuck over there. Whatever. We've got his already set up. So the point is we're coming down for a 5th wave. That's the bottom line. We're coming down for the 5th wave. And it's got to happen. And I like exactly what he did. I really do. I like it. We're going to come down. Eventually, we're coming down here. That's the bottom line. We're going to come down there. And we're going to tap that out. And once we do make that new low, we're going to cook. We've got, I think 265 is what we need to do because it may, I don't know if 269 is good enough. Well, I guess, what was the lowest of the low? Oh, yeah, that would be fine. If you hit 269, it's under, it can be a fraction of a penny. As long as it's under 269.25, we'll cook. We're going to cook. Oh, Crypto Cooter's phenomenal. Nick is too. He just hasn't been around for a little while. As you can imagine, it gets a little intense. Newbie, welcome in. Tesla, nice stock chart. Yes, Tesla, though, I think it's a little overvalued right now. We talked about Tesla. I think it's got this kind of movement building up for Tesla. So I think we're working on something here for Tesla, but it's I don't think it's in a rising wedge though. I think it's forming a rising triangle, which means I think for Tesla, I mean it very well. I think it's going to come back down somewhere between. I think it's going to come towards 280 to 320 if this actually played out, but it's so oversold in the daily now. You're going to get micro fragment movements, but I don't know. Maybe it'll just power out because it's got this big inverse head and shoulders. So maybe it doesn't have to come back down there. Or I mean, this big cup and handle. So maybe it doesn't come all the way down there, but it is in this rising triangle. It could break out early. The problem is it says that this is supposed to break out in like 2029. And like, that's a rising triangle. Those are bullish consolidations, but it looks like it's going to take a few years. And that looks like it's going to bring us into the robotics era. So maybe we start positioning ourselves in Tesla if it comes down to 292 for the next chapter after crypto and start an early positioning for robotics. That's what I'm going to try to do. So if this price does have a nice drop down here in the next several months, I've looked a little bit Winford, a little bit into it, but I don't know enough about it to feel confident in, you know, and that kind of thing. Oh, AUW, I have been looking into Serve, believe it or not, as it's on my list even. Down 6.3% of the day, but I've been looking at the connection between, there's a lot with robotics here, but we don't know any kind of price floor yet, so it's kind of hard to make any kind of move here. I'm just waiting to see what it wants to do here. It's still very much trying to figure it out. It almost looks like it's in, it's going to form some kind of wedge. Now that I look at this again. But yeah, this is definitely one I'm paying attention to for when it gets to a price where I think, interesting. What if it does form a wedge? Where would that price target be? Because I don't think you can necessarily come from here. Because it can't come from there. There's no fucking way. Unless it's something like this. Ooh, maybe it is. No, I can't even do that. That wouldn't even make sense. It would have to come from here if it's that. I don't know. That's a fucked up pattern right here. So maybe like this? Maybe it's something like that? And it can't really go much farther, though. I mean, you can't go into that. Well, I guess it does have some range. Okay, it has a little bit more room than I thought. Where's this in the daily time frame? Okay, that's good. Oh, that's really good. The weekly's really oversold. That's what I want to see. It's finally got some evidence here. So now we're just going to try to catch up here. This is nice. I don't know. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine where a good buy is for this. But there's definitely something here. I do believe the robotics is going to be the next big thing. That's going to be a big part of our human history that we don't want to talk about. So yeah, Tesla's a good option. But there's going to have to be something else in crypto. And I've had a few suggestions, but this is one that actually caught my eye the deepest. Only because of where it's at within the chart. So, serve. Who said that actually? AUW, on point, my friend. Oh, it's building something big right now in the daily. There's no doubt about that. We'll go back to it. I just want to see the... I can't remember the max supply. I know you... you might have been the one who told me. A max supply of 1 billion, serve? Is that what that says? I think that's about what it's saying. Is that right? That's the max supply is only 1 billion tokens on. There's a lot already in circulation. That's good to hear. So 67.2% are in circulation, all right. Launched in 2023, operates on the Ethereum platform. OpenServe has a current supply of 1 billion with 672 million in circulation. Okay, a current supply, but what's the max supply? Is that... Scotty, oh yeah, BMNR was the other one. I had this on here. It didn't save for... I put it on my phone. I remember when you brought that up. It did not save on here for some reason. I remember you brought that one up. BMNR. These are robotic plays. That was in the New York Stock Exchange, right? Wait a minute, no. That was on... Yours was on crypto, too. No, it wasn't. Yours was on the stock market. Yours was Scotty Trades. Yours was on the stock market, and AUW's was on crypto, I believe. Nope, you're not late. You're not late, Mr. Stott. And welcome in, and thanks for being in Times over 3+ months with the XRP Meteor, along with Shane. Awesome to see you in here, Shane. Good morning to you, my friend. Always glad to see you in here. Amanda, welcome in, and thanks for being in Times over 6 months with the XP Predictor. I think this is the one that Scotty Trades is talking about. Yeah, I thought so. Yours is in the stock market. So I remember we charted this out yesterday. I don't know why it went away. Or the day before. This is a nice, easy chart to see. I like them when they're nice and easy. Like, nice and easy. Not too much brain power. Nice and easy. I was going to say, let's bring up that stochastic real quick, see what we're dealing with. Because not knowing a lot about certain things, the stochastic will give you a nice idea of where, like, the public perception's been. And the longer it stays in overbought, the more volatile to the upside it can get. Like, that's the misconception for some of these. Like, if you got great things that are happening for Catalyst, but I think robotics play is in 26, so I think that's why a lot of these are clearing out in the higher time frames. For when we get into 26, I think these can actually, I think this is going to be a big sector coming up. They had a split on 120. Oh, so they're splitting too. Interesting. Oh my God, look where that was at. That's so funny when you see stuff from all the way in the back. So the price, okay, so this is a good example for somebody. When you're watching stuff like this, the price was never at $4 million or $10 million. So when you're buying this, you're not looking, it had splits, okay? It had a split. So they had a 1 to 20, which means there's a split there. Another probably 1 to 20. That's what 1 to 200. So that's what they do when the price gets a little too elevated. So right now it's at the bottom of a cycle of a split. So that's actually a good thing. This is just coming out from the cycle split, and that was in May of 25. This is still at the bottom of a split. That's actually good. Because now it's dirt cheap compared to what people were used to buying. And think of Tesla when they would reverse split it. it'd be at 12, 13, $1,400. It'd come back for 75. Yeah, everybody who had it riding it into the 1,000, now it's at 75. They're so happy because it's a lot more likely someone's going to buy a share at 75. Even though it makes more shares, but you see what I'm saying? So, man, oh man. Scotty says, BMNR is on the stock market. They shifted resources to mine Ethereum and serve a crypto or it's a stock. This one's a stock. This is an interesting one. I want to see this formation play out, but this is certainly an interesting one. It's got a nice inverse pattern set up. I kind of feel like it would. It did come all the way down here though at 30, so that was pretty fucking close. We'll just have to watch this one. That's the best I can say. We'll watch it, Scotty. But as far as for crypto, this is definitely one that's caught my intrigue big time because of the robotics essence of it. It's just I'm having a hard time figuring out how to play this chart. Not because we can't do it, but because I can go from here, but I can also go from here and do the same thing. But I kind of feel like it would probably make more sense from a visual perspective to do this. But then we'll be trying to figure out where does this uptrend go? Because we're not doing this. We can't be doing this. It's impossible. So that wick can't do that. So it's not continuing a down aggression. So this is trying to figure out where is it going to be. Is it going to be something like this where it meets? Maybe it's telling us this. Maybe the pattern's going to end up like this from the back end, you know, something. But I don't know. I kind of like this because it's the only real evidence we've got to where it could come down. Kind of looks like a bear flag formed here. So it should bring us right into that section. It would definitely tone down the 4 hourly if this broke down. Now it'll probably go the other way to piss us off so it takes longer. But, I mean, that brings us into that area. I don't hate this. Now, could we try to map this out and say, okay, well, we came from that wick. I like to be very, very precise with this. So unless we went like that. Nah, I still like it like this, though. Because it rode that entire line. That entire wave rode that. Yeah, that's how I like it. And now if you look at that, maybe that's how it maps down. I don't know, somewhere in that section. That looks to be the section, but enough of that. Spent a lot of time on that. XRP, I know we spent time on. But if we want to, in my opinion, with the way I set it up, if you want to know why, so I'm going to put that 5, and don't put it into stock like this is anything more than just a little guidance here because some are going to be like, oh, well, that's going to invalidate this and that's going to do. I understand what you're going to say, but I'm going to keep this up like this just for a visual. Just imagine it started here and then we came down, came back, whoops, came down, came back up, came down, came back out. Then we got to come down here. And then we can go, boom, break the hell out of here, right? So just look at it like that. How we can extend it even like this if you want, just make us feel better. So just look at it like that. So I think we still got one more wave down. There's obviously the micro 5 wave that you can do here. I showed MQ, and I'm not going to try to overshadow it because I think he did a phenomenal job. And I think this could have, if this is a bear flag right here, it could just come straight down. So I think we could be looking at something like that, and we're in the midst of, at some point here, the pull down. Doesn't mean it can't come to 297. Doesn't mean it can't come back up to 304, whatever. So it can, but, you know, we'll see what happens here. We'll definitely see what happens here because this is getting ugly. In a good way. This is getting ugly in September and October now so that we can have a fantastic November. Look how perfectly this is going to play out if this happens. Notice this is November. Notice this pushes us right out into the end of November, mid-November. I mean, this would be a spectacular move on the way out. And we're clearing out. Look at the 4 hourly where we're overbought or oversold. We're clearing out some of these points. Daily time frames pushing down. Remember when it was overbought just a few short weeks ago? Way overbought. Now a few short days ago, it's even pulled down again. Weekly's clearing out in a spectacular form. Spectacular. I'm very happy about this. Yeah, you like the way that I have it right here. Scotty, you like this 5. I like it like this too because it gives you the feedback loop right now to watch it in real time. $58 is the gap that needs to be filled, leaving a great market entry. Yep. Okay, that's perfect because you're talking about here too. I like it. 58 is the gap that needed to be filled. How did I have it the first time? Whoops. Yeah, I don't dislike this at all. We had a low, low, low. If it comes up, it keeps making higher lows. And the lower high has technically made a higher low or a higher high now. So you had lower highs. A lower high, so high, lower high, lower high. That technically made a higher high. Which if this breaks out now before it makes a lower low, this is going to be confirmation of a breakout. This could be an early feedback loop here. Honestly, hold on. Let me look at this a little bit closer and take it out of the wicks real quick. We could have an early feedback loop here. I skimmed over that very quickly. I wasn't even paying attention. That's interesting. I didn't even realize that until I came back. So if we're saying this section, because it's harder to see in the daily, would be a high right there, lower high, lower high. This actually came back up and made a higher. That's higher. And this is a low, higher low, higher low. This is converging tightly. So if this breaks out before it breaks down now, you've got a confirmed breakout here. That would be... And if this breaks out... Oh my. That's like $104. Ooh. Yep, the 1618. Yep, absolutely. The 1618 definitely. It always seems like things like to go through. But we'll see. We'll see if that holds. I don't think it would break down, but you see the differential you're looking at. A breakdown would bring it down to like $14. I don't think we're going in that direction with robotics personally, but there. Hi. Their earnings, not much of an earnings, but they do have revenue. No surprises there, according to the last one. Just got to pay attention to the split. So yeah, that's going to be an intriguing one to watch going forward. But with XRP, the 1.6, yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking for one more down. I think so, Scotty Trades. Just look at the Ethereum chart. Yep, big time. Oh, absolutely. But when you look at Ethereum, don't you think that if we're looking at it for that reason, it gives us the reason that we could come down more with the liquidity zone being at 4,090 in a massive way, around 10.8 billion for Ethereum. The possibility of coming back down into the bottom of this possible wedge at 35.40, which actually back tests a much larger breakout for Ethereum that started in 21. So I think there's reasons why this can happen. That 4,089 is very intriguing to me. Let me move this down here. This range is very intriguing because, well, not 96, well, close enough. But that range is intriguing because there's a massive liquidity pool down there for Ethereum. So that's intriguing as well. Oversold in the daily. So it does give me a reason to believe we're going to come down here just a little bit. Frankie Fresh snuck back out from work. Yeah, Mr. Stott, we've looked at Flare a lot. It's just, the token is technically inflationary in stature because they give out, I don't know, they give out so many damn tokens that it makes it hard for the price to stay appreciated. But when it's in a good spot, it's a great buy when it's in good areas because it goes up several 100%. It always gives it back, but it's such a great move. We've done it a few times. Haven't spent too much time on the Ethereum chart. No, I mean, no. I was just looking at Ethereum for guidance for the next big push based around Ethereum because it's gonna happen. Like eventually we're gonna come out to that $7,800 range. We're just back testing, like we just are legitimately back testing a breakout and an inverse head and shoulders that broke us out of this pattern. So that's all we're doing. And we could have technically come back as far as we needed anyhow. Like, we don't technically need to come back anywhere. We already cleared this section out. We technically don't even have to come back any farther. So, but there is a nice liquidity pool at 4,090-ish, 4,085. That's why I think crypto's coming down one more time. So, oh, you're welcome, Mr. Stott. I'll do what I can. Ethereum, we were just talking about. Bitcoin at 122,476. I mean, did it not surge right like we expected? Once it came up and bounced off 111 and got over 115.7, we knew there was nothing in between to 126.6. It had to retest that rising wedge. What I'm hopeful for here is Ethereum would come back down now and tap that liquidity that it left and the gap at around 110.8-ish in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME, and taps that liquidity pool that it has. It's got about there's a lot of liquidity down there, 11 billion or so in just the one small area. And if it does this, it allows us much better opportunities. That's why you see a lot of things dumping back down after their big gains. It's just not ready. Some say silver's about to push 50. Where's it at right now? Unbelievable. $49.11. Man, oh man. The NASDAQ's up 135, but it's rotating a little bit to the down. Not horrible, though. It could bounce up even farther. S&P 500, same kind of setup, up 25 bucks approximately, or 25 points. The Dow, slightly different setup, but pretty similar. Up 84 points on the day. So, NASDAQ's getting closer to 3,000. Tesla's down still. It had pushed 450, but it was too overbought. So I said I want to talk about it now while it's on the downtrend so everybody can kind of see it as it comes into its own. I'm glad to see Fortuna Silver Mines is up 7.2%. It needed this push. It deserves to be over 10 bucks. It's close now. Remarkably, First Majestic up another 8.4. See what's happening? Every time the charts pull back, they just break right back up. Linnea, we're still waiting for the 10th. So the 10th is 2 days away. We got 1.08 billion tokens to be released. We're kind of looking for a dump down, like a breakthrough on this little wedge area and start to come down either to 1.7 or 1.31 is what we're hopeful for. We don't know if we'll get there. We're massively oversold in the daily, but we're going to be evolving by 1.08 billion tokens. We're starting to get oversold in a lot of these areas, so we're waiting for this push down that culminates on the 10th. And if it plays out, I mean, I'm going to be in this. There's no doubt about it. We've rode it a couple times in and out, in and out. But we're waiting for the 10th. Is the general consensus of fifth wave down or 15% across the board selling for some cash deployment coming up? I mean, that is up to you guys. The better sale would have been at 307 or 305 like what Ripple did when they moved 2 million tokens at $3.05. So, yeah. So Ripple moved their tokens into an unknown wallet, likely for some kind of secrecy, so that they don't have to be all over everybody's on their nuts. ZBCN right now, it didn't hold this area. This was our guider. We talked about it. This is why you sell the 25% gain, and then you wait to see if it holds, because if it doesn't, you go right to 3.8. And yeah, the smaller time frames are fine, but look how overbought we were. There's no catalyst here right now in crypto. Not yet. We need these next push of rate cuts and quantitative easing. That's going to be our catalyst. Robotics don't have the catalyst in the moment, but they're close. That's why I'm so fascinated with them. So serve, the more it goes down, the more I to take a quote from somebody in the audience yesterday or 2 days ago. They said, I know this is going to sound weird, but just watching these charts and watching you describe them, I've got a huge heart. And it was just funny how they said it. You know, watching some of these, it makes you like, oh boy, you know, whoops, something's going on here. I don't even want to keep that on there, but something's going on with some of these. And it's like, where do we catch it at? I don't know. Because it's so new, I don't know. I really don't know. But we can speculate that maybe it comes down here to 1.5, 1.4, starts to clear all this out. But we are so oversold right now in the weekly. Daily's coming down to meet up with it. 4 hourly needs to come down to meet up with it again. You know, so we've got room. If this bear flag pulls out, we need to take some serious consideration if it comes to 1440 with the rest of the market. Or if it comes down there, I'll take serious consideration. God, I get the question with DGB a lot, and it's like, I don't know what to tell everybody. It's not that it's not a good hold at certain levels, but with what, and even now, but it looks like it's going to come down probably again. But with what I experienced, I can't hold it. No matter how good of a hold it is, when I don't feel safe holding it, and their community didn't back me, I can't hold it anymore. It may be a good hold. I think it is overall. I don't know about from right here because it tends to, until it's about to break out, but it's close. All of these are close in the altcoins, and it's dirt cheap where it's at. So I don't want to speculate anymore on it because I've got an unfair bias now because of what happened to me. So, and yeah, eventually I got my tokens back, but I had to track down the creator of the actual freaking wallet. But DGB on its website endorsed it. That's what they insisted that you use. So I think it is, but I can't personally do it anymore. So that's just me. I still think it's not a bad. I think overall it's still fucking gonna end up going way higher just out of the pump and dump scheme, even if that's all it is. It's gonna go. It's just a matter of where you buy it. Maybe it goes a lot higher from 0.005. Maybe it does a lot higher from here. Maybe it goes lower. That's where a lot of these are. They're gonna go a lot higher when they get to where they're going. But if we get them at the wrong time with the altcoins, XRP we got at the perfect time, and I don't care what anybody says. 34 cents, 38 cents, anything in that area was, anything under $1 now looks great. But we got it in a phenomenal spot. So that's what I'm trying to do with the rest of these. You know, and I keep trying to be as transparent as I can with band. I think the best time to get the band is when it comes down here, even if it holds 59.7 or if it comes all the way to 52, because we were so overbought. And then some of these time frames are going to cool off a bit. That's what crypto needed. A little cool off phase, and I know it sucks because it's been 9 months, but this is what happens. We had these artificial run-ups when we could have phenomenally cleared out. And then some will be like, well, gold, you know, it's overbought. Yeah, but it has catalyst. The ultimate catalyst. The U.S. dollar's trash. The U.S. economy is going down. Inflation's going out the roof. And the dollar's been devalued by about 10% this year alone when you price it in goods. So, oh, and fees, yeah, lots of fees. Lots of fees. True, good morning, and thanks for being in here, my friend. You were in here long ago when we were finally going through the bear market, when we were in the phase of uh-oh. Mike B, welcome in. Just don't want any duds trying to stay on track with the thing. Oh, I get you, Mike. And I don't hate DGB, I just hate what happened. And I also hate some of the stuff I started to see where it almost looked like AI comments for a lot of things, but that's for another day. We've talked about it before, but you know, so there's some skepticism for sure. Market's definitely coming down here. Ethereum's about to put in a negative now on the day after being over 4,500. D. Rojas, welcome in and thanks for being in Time Zone for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Thank you for carrying the DGB for me. I appreciate it. But yeah, we'll call it a day. It's been an hour. I want to keep some of my voice available for when we come back tonight. Have a blessed day, everybody. Enjoy the miners. They're just going ballistic. I think Dolly Varden's a great steal right now, knowing that 13.2% of its float and common shares is guaranteed at $6.50. Right now, they're doing about 4%, but in totality, it's 13.2% of their outstanding common shares already guaranteed at $6.50, which means it is dirt cheap. Dirt freaking cheap. I have 1,045, I think it was when I bought it back at $4.65. So do the math this morning. So it wasn't last night. So it was this morning. No, it was yesterday. What am I talking about? It filled yesterday at 465, proceeded to go down to 450 something. So, and then today it came back down below it again. So it can come back down, I think, all the way to 430 something. But I read everything I needed to know. Everything I needed to know. So yeah, pay attention to it because at some point you're going to come on here and it's going to have an 8 to 10% move back up. So then it's not going to be this cheap. But it could be cheaper. So you never know. Be blessed, everybody.